Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Pluralsight co-founder and CEO Aaron Skonnard.
Welcome. It's incredible to be together, and I just want to give everyone here a warm welcome to Pluralsight Live 2019 and the great state of Utah. Yeah. You guys excited about the lineup? Yeah? I don't think I heard you. We have an incredible lineup over the next few days. We had an incredible lineup yesterday. I was inspired by listening to Alex Honnold talk about defying boundaries and how he mastered those fundamental skills to do one of the hardest things any human being has ever done. And at the end of that, I was inspired by how applicable the message was for all of us in our roles. We have so many more stories like that to share over the next few days, and I'm excited to kick things off right now. But just again, a big warm welcome to all of our customers from all over the world who are here, our partners, our authors. We have a few hundred of them here with us this week, our investors, our analysts, and all of our team members. We're so glad you came and joined us here at this incredible event, and we can't wait to dig in. You know, I can't believe it's been a year. You know, a year ago, we were talking about Role IQ and a bunch of the things we were announcing at Pluralsight Live 2018. I thought it would be good just to zoom out and look at some of the things we've accomplished over the last 12 months. You know, we now have over 200 skill assessments on the platform. And we released 1,500 new courses in the last year. Pluralsight now has 17,700 business customers all over the globe, and many of you are here with us this week. Thank you. Thank you. Over the last year, we've announced partnerships with Microsoft, Google, and AWS, specifically to build cloud skills at scale. Our cloud content has grown significantly over the last year. It's grown over 128% across those key cloud categories. A note about Pluralsight One. It was just 2 years ago we announced Pluralsight One and started our initiatives there. Today, we now have over 300 global nonprofits using our Pluralsight One product offerings, and we couldn't be more proud. Thank you. Here in Utah, we've been active on promoting computer science education in conjunction with the rest of Silicon Slopes and my colleagues across the board. We've been working closely with the state to ensure that every school in Utah and every student in K through 12 has access to high-quality computer science education. Thank you. And since we were together last year, we helped the state pass legislation that unlocks over $3 million in funding to do just that. And we helped the governor develop a master plan for the state that defines exactly how we're going to accomplish that between now and the end of 2022. I'm confident that at least here in Utah, computer science will be taught in every school. And we'd love to help you do that in your states. You know, some of you are highly influential in your states in the field of tech and computer science, and we'd love to help you learn how you can go drive those similar initiatives back at home. So reach out to us and we can help. On the platform front, we built on the Skill IQ and Role IQ foundation, the Iris family of products. Since last year, we've released custom roles, role analytics, skill progress analytics, and Q&A. All really compelling capabilities that allow you to unlock the data around how your teams work and drive skills at scale. We also launched a new suite of professional services offerings, which is new for us. You know, our customers come to us and ask for help on driving skill transformation strategies. And so now we have a team that's ready to dig in and join your teams and help you work on those initiatives. I'll say more about that later in my presentation. Probably the most exciting announcement of the year was our acquisition of GitPrime, which we'll talk more about today. GitPrime is a compelling new product that makes it possible to dig into the insights around how engineering teams operate. And we're excited to tell you more about what we're doing there, and that'll be a big focus of my keynote. It's been an incredible year, a lot has happened, but the best is yet to come. Let's shift our focus now to the future. So where are we going as tech leaders? The future of technology leadership is changing. It's shifting. I spent all day yesterday with our customers from around the world. We had a customer advisory board, and we talked about some of these topics at length. And one thing that's clear is that the role of the chief technology leader is shifting. They're now responsible for more than ever before. It's one of the hardest jobs within big corporations. And it's because they sit at the center of the universe. Everything almost rests on their shoulders. Think about the things you're responsible for. And then fast forward 10 years and think about what it's going to look like a decade from now. Chief technology officers are responsible for things like strategy, company strategy, information security, cloud, all things digital, data science, machine learning, now AI, and ultimately the innovation for the company. The technology officer and the technology organization is the heartbeat of the company. It's what pushes and drives long-term, long-lasting innovation towards the company's vision and strategy. What I've learned in talking to our customers is that a successful technology leader requires 3 superpowers: strategy, skills, and visibility. Let me dive into each one. First, let's start with strategy. Ultimately, technology is changing the way we work every day, which is producing a lot of chaos. And ultimately, we have to think strategically about how we're going to navigate all of this and get to the future we see. That requires strategic thinking and operational discipline. Think about the latest technologies that are hitting right now today. One of the most talked about right now is what's called artificial intelligence. Have you heard of that? Artificial intelligence, AI. Some of you may be thinking about that right now, and others of you may be thinking, well, that's still a ways out. Think about where you're at on that right now today. Do you see it as now or the future? Well, 37% of companies are already utilizing AI right now today, in some shape or form. JP Morgan Chase has empowered AI copywriters to produce ads that are already performing 2 to 5 times better than their human counterparts. Wells Fargo is experimenting with AI to detect money laundering by identifying patterns that humans often overlook. And scientists at Disney are doing some really cool experiments where they're running movie scripts through AI neural networks to generate storyboard animations. 3 examples of how AI is being used right now by companies you know, and it's changing the way they work. Someone in that organization has to be thinking about the strategy behind all of that. Like, what do I want to change? What do I want that future to look like? And how should I embrace this technology to bring all of that forward? A great example of this is one of our customers, TD Bank. TD Bank is here this week, and they've done some incredible work driving this kind of innovative thinking and a culture of learning across their organizations. Tim Clark, one of the CIOs at TD Bank, is using things like hackathons and individualized learning programs to inspire change and the embracing of these technologies across all team members. I was just with Tim a few months ago in Toronto, and he invited me to come and judge one of their recent hackathons. And as I sat and listened to all the presentations, I was inspired by what came out of it. The winning team came up with a new loyalty program for their credit cards. You guys know these programs. You spend money, you get points, and you use those points to buy things for who? For yourself. You buy TVs, plane tickets, things like that, and they're not very inspiring. One of these groups came up with an incredible new idea. Let's use data and some of these new technologies to create a loyalty program that lasts for multiple generations. And what we can do is encourage people to stay with us for years and decades and give them the ability to give the gift of education, university tuition to future generations. What do you think? You like that? Would you do that? So, ideas that come out of team members. These were team members from across very different groups across the company that came together and spurred this new thought. Companies that are thinking strategically about how do I leverage these technologies to move our business forward are doing things like that. And they realize that developing that culture of learning within their companies is one of the most important strategic capabilities of the future. Today, I'm privileged to have another one of our customers, Thomson Reuters, here with us to share a little bit about how they're doing that at their company. Please join me in welcoming Shawn Malhotra out to the stage. Shawn, come on out. Shawn, it's good to have you here. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Thanks for having me.
You like sitting in front of 3,000 people?
I love it. I love it.
So Shawn, Thomson Reuters is doing some really disruptive things. I visited you not long ago in Toronto, and when I was there, I was just really impressed with how you're specifically driving transformational change within the company. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what that looks like, what your vision is for it, and what's happening?
Yeah, so thanks. And, about 18 months ago, Thomson Reuters recognized we needed to make some changes. We wanted to move faster. We wanted to grow at a faster pace. And we wanted to really be the company we could be. So how are we going to do that? Well, we did a few things. We started by selling the financial and risk business unit, which was half of the company, both in revenue and in employees. So we literally split the company in half. We then decided to reorganized what was left of the company into customer-defined segments rather than domain-defined business units. Finally, we decided to close a third of our locations to streamline our footprint and make us more amenable to teamwork and fast collaboration. Over the last 18 months, we've invested $1 billion to buy companies and make acquisitions where we wanted to double down our bets. So that's a lot of change.
That's a lot of change.
It's a lot of change, yeah. So there's definitely a lot of change. Look, we're currently seeing our highest growth in the last 10 years, very early days. But yeah, lots of change to digest.
So, talk to me about how your leadership had to evolve to produce that kind of change. That's like big stuff, big org design, M&A, selling off things. Like, how did you have to change as a tech leader to drive that?
Yeah, so it's a good question. And yeah, I'd been through organizational changes in the past, but nothing like this. And I'd say there's no silver bullet, right? It's all the things you always do, whether you're a first-line manager or wherever you are in an organization. It's communication, being visible to your people, and being authentic with your message. And honestly, one thing that helped me is I was living through the change and uncertainty with the people I was leading. When they made that decision to sell half of the company, I was part of that company. I was part of that part of the company. I was in the financial and risk business unit. So for about a year, I didn't know exactly what my next job would be at Thomson Reuters. I knew we were on an exciting path. I knew we were going to do some cool things, solve some cool technology problems, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And about half our company was kind of in that same boat. And I embraced that, just being authentic. Like, there are days where I'm like, yeah, it's a bit concerning, but I'm excited. Days where I'm like, hey, here's why we should feel certain about this. And that, just being visible, being authentic, and being available is the most important lesson.
I think navigating that kind of fear, like that's organizational fear, real psychology that people are dealing with, is one of the biggest challenges tech leaders have to deal with when driving that kind of change. Did that require you to think more deeply about strategy and what you were committed to in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it makes you really question, why are you there? What's motivating people? And how are we going to serve our customers? And that pace, that change, having a clear message around that we all believed as a leadership team and articulating that was never more important than at that time.
Now, I remember when I was with you, you were talking about your specific strategy for how you can identify, as you're moving through that kind of organizational change, how you can use data to identify skills in people and how you would use that to sort of help chart that path forward. Talk to me more about that.
Yeah, I think that one of the cultural changes we were going through at Thomson Reuters, and specifically at the Tech Center, was we wanted to focus on really hiring, developing, and cultivating raw technology skills. When I first joined, an anecdote that I like to share is that we had a hiring manager who talked to me and said, man, this person really rocked the interview. Did well in the coding tests, great results. But they came from a gaming background. Mm-hmm. They've never worked on financial applications before.
Yeah.
And my comment to them was, are you hiring them to pick stocks or to write code? Right? And if they can write code, let's hire them. And that was kind of the approach we took, is those raw skills and let them figure out the domain. And that kind of North Star of keep focusing on the raw skills, keep focusing on those transferable skills, I think it's how you build high-performing teams. And I think it's what's allowed us to navigate this massive change we're all going through.
And how would you describe the big outcomes you're already seeing right now? Like, what are the results of all of it?
Well, it's amazing, right? When you take someone who has spent a bunch of time and energy building those raw skills on one domain, one product area, and you turn them loose in another big area, they immediately see things the other team didn't see. And that's not a question of, was the other team good or bad? It's not that. It's a new perspective. Mm-hmm. Diversity is such an important thing in our industry, and one lens of diversity is getting those domain experts to pivot and see. And there's many spots where we've seen people improve CI/CD because their old team did it a different way. New team does it differently. Bring that learning, right? So that rotation's been awesome.
Final question for you. How would you define the importance of your role specifically in executing on the company-wide strategy?
Yeah, I think, and you made the point earlier, right, is that my day job is making sure that we build the best technology solutions for our customers, right, that we meet their needs. But you can't do that if you're not directly intertwined with your business leaders, with the rest of the company. So I kind of, in our organizational structure, I sit in our technology team, but I also sit on the extended leadership team of the general manager of my business. I was actually there the last 2 days in Minnesota meeting with his leadership team, right? And so technology is no longer something that is a cost center that sits over there to maybe build some stuff, right?
You have a seat at the table.
That's right. You have a seat at the table, and things like AI, things like cloud migration, that drives what the business can do. And if you're not at that table sharing what's possible, you're missing out for your customers.
Awesome. Shawn, thank you so much for sharing your story, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Aaron.
Take care. Give it up for Shawn.
Cheers.
Great example of how technology leaders are shifting new cultures of learning within their companies and actually driving the company strategy forward. That's what I mean when I talk about strategy as a strategic superpower, a key capability. Now let's shift gears and talk about skills. A lot of you are here because of your passion for skills, your commitment to developing skills within yourselves and within your organizations. And it's becoming one of the top priorities for technology leaders everywhere. Why? Because your most important asset is the skills of your people. And it's the ability to align those skills with what you need to go produce, with that future vision you have for the company. Skills sit at the heart of everything. And today, there are new ways to build skills, ways that are better than ever before. And it requires strategy, it requires leadership, and it requires cultural change like we just heard about. Here at Pluralsight, we talk about technology skill development as a key capability that every company should possess. It's different than just training. Training is something that's outsourced, something that someone else brings you and provides you. Other companies try to go hire the talent. I'm just going to solve it with hiring to get the new skills. Neither will work at scale when you're driving your company and your organization to become a true tech company from within. You have to build a real capability within the business to reliably and predictably build the technology skills you need over time to win. To help our customers understand where they're at in that journey, here at Pluralsight, we've defined what we call the technology skills maturity matrix that you see over here. This matrix helps you understand where you're at in your own life cycle of building this key capability. Companies that are early in that process are on the left. They're using unstructured techniques, they're very reactive to current needs, and there's not a lot of measurement or analytics, very little visibility into what's happening around these initiatives. Companies that are more mature are on the right. These companies are strategic. They're thinking about how to build this capability internally so their company has full control over it over time. They're not going to be dependent on outside services. They're going to build a capability that they can use to take their skills where they need them to be decades from now. In this world, the CTO and the CIO are calling the shots. They're involved in these strategies, defining them. They're the ones partnering with L&D and HR to ensure the company's moving in the right direction to build this key capability. They're focused on data and data science and all the analytics they would want to have to be able to measure the effectiveness of those investments and the strategy over time. And they're really focused on the future. They're living into that future. They're not being reactive. They're very proactive. So take a second to think about where you're at in this maturity matrix and where you want to be. We can help you move to the right. That's what Pluralsight's all about and what we're committed to. We are your skills transformation platform. And as we add new products to the Pluralsight family, we've realized we've got to think a little bit about our naming, the names of our products. You know, for the last several years, we haven't really had a name for our product. It's just been called Pluralsight. But now that we have more than one product, we realize we better give it a name. So as of today, the name of our core product is now Pluralsight Skills. Thank you. Pluralsight Skills is all about building tech skills at scale, and it's designed for the tech leader. Let me hit the highlights and tell you what's new. So Pluralsight Skills is all about speed. Skills for speed. We are committed to building the world's fastest path for building technology skills at scale, to build that technology skill development muscle within your company. The way we think about measuring our success is through what we call a skills coverage metric. We're not so obsessed about counting courses anymore, although our volume is higher than ever before. We focus on, are we producing the right skills for your strategic needs right now? So what we do is we go out to the market and we look at all the job posting for all the roles you're hiring for right now. We synthesize that data and we develop a skills map that we have to cover. That's our coverage metric. And we're committed to providing 100% coverage for CTOs and CIOs, the skills you care about. And we're anxiously engaged in that cause. We're also committed to investing faster and faster in our course production cycle. You'll hear more about that in a few minutes. Now, the real heroes behind Pluralsight are the people who sit behind this skills coverage, the metrics you see here. They're our authors. They're the world's leading experts in the technology areas they cover. They author the books. They speak at the big conferences, giving keynotes like this one about things like AI. They're out there in the world evangelizing those technologies and know more about them than anyone else. We only accept 6% of our applicants into our author network, which means you have a better chance of getting into MIT than becoming a Pluralsight author. And these people are incredible. We have about 200 of them here with us. Pluralsight authors, will you please stand up so we can give you a hand? Yes. There they are. Thank you. Thank you. The Pluralsight authors are what represent our quality. We have 1,500 of them around the world, all over the globe, specialized in each area we cover. And these people are incredible. Pluralsight, in the end, is about quality. And it's about the human intelligence in our author network. That's what we deliver up and serve out to all of you. And I want you to know we have never been more committed to ongoing quality. Quality and Pluralsight are synonyms. It's like a universal truth, like gravity or taxis. Pluralsight means quality, and that will never change. We will move faster than ever before on the skills that matter for you while raising our quality bar, and you can count on that. Now, in addition to the amazing content in our Pluralsight Skills product, we also are investing in data science and adaptive experiences. You're seeing these things happen right now. We've improved our search and user-specific recommendations. We're building things on top of the Skill IQ and Role IQ foundation to make it possible for learners to learn faster, for the product to adapt to their needs, to serve up the right piece of content in the right moment of time. So it's about discoverability and adaptability. Now, another big area we're investing in with Pluralsight Skills is the cloud. How many of you are on the cloud? Pretty much everyone in the room. And I bet many of you are also thinking about a multi-cloud strategy. You're polynimbists. You like that? We just sort of did that. Polynimbists, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud. You can pick a cloud, and Pluralsight will help you get there. Okay, we are investing heavily in the cloud. 80% of our customers are already approaching a multi-cloud strategy right now today, meaning they're not picking just one, they're picking multiple, and they're investing heavily to move their business into those environments. That's why we have teamed up with the 3 largest cloud providers and others to make sure we can enable their ecosystems faster than anyone else. We have partnered with Microsoft, Google, and AWS to ensure that we have all the content you need when you need it. And you can count on this being a super high priority for us in the future. We will continue to invest more deeply, more quickly, and make it possible for you to ramp up on any cloud provider that you're committing to in your strategy, especially if you're going for a multi-cloud approach. Now, like I said earlier, our cloud content is growing. We grew the cloud content by over 128% year over year. And we've developed deeper relationships with all 3 of these companies. And today, I'm excited to announce some new partnerships. With Microsoft Azure, we are announcing today 5 new role IQs: DevOps engineer, data engineer, AI engineer, data scientist, and security engineer. Notice these strategic content areas. These are the areas we're committed to, and we've partnered with Microsoft to ensure you have access to these 5 new role IQs, which encapsulate mounds of content and will allow your individual professionals to know if they're proficient in these roles. I'm also excited to announce a new partnership with Google today. With Google, we've just released our first skill IQ called the Associate Cloud Engineer. So now your engineers can measure their current proficiency with Google Cloud. There will be many more to come, and we're investing more deeply with them every day. And with AWS, we're doing similar things. I'm happy to announce that we're now on the AWS Marketplace. so your teams can work with Pluralsight in a unified fashion. Now, a lot of our customers are doing big things with our partners here. One example of that is Fujitsu, who's also here this week. Fujitsu is working tirelessly to ramp up their entire ecosystem of professional services onto these cloud platforms. They're increasing their cloud proficiency at scale, and they're doing it well. It's allowing them to save millions of dollars every year now. They're relying less on external expertise because they're building it and growing it internally. They're building that supply chain of skills. And all of it's driving growth. Because their consultants are better than anyone else on these key skills, they're winning in the marketplace. So all this sounds cool to me, but I thought it'd be cool for you to hear it from them. Go ahead and roll the video.
I think we're seeing quite a dramatic change in our business model, and I think that's not just Nomura. And so cloud really gives us that edge. So we have to be quick and flexible and use our staff to help us get there so that we can compete in that new landscape.
The technology strategy needs to be aligned with what the customer is looking for, and the customer is looking to move to the cloud and take advantage of all the benefits that the cloud offers.
If you're not taking advantage of that, you're truly not serving your mission from an IT perspective.
The only way it starts is when Pluralsight has landed in the enterprise the right skilling platform, the right enablement platform. The magic happens is when those individuals take those skills and apply them to meaningful, well-written projects that are well-run, that are built on the cloud.
The number one thing that's holding our customers back from deploying further in the cloud is a skills gap. And that ability to close the skills gap is critical to them.
Pluralsight offers best in class, and our customers deserve best in class as they're learning on their cloud journey.
As we've watched some of the courses, we went from 0 to running large-scale Cosmos databases in the cloud and being able to execute instead of a matter of months, in a matter of weeks.
IT leaders want to be able to get data to see where is my team, how can I assess them, and all of that works to help customers get to the cloud faster. And all of that is provided by what Pluralsight has built.
Thank you. You heard it from Google. The biggest thing standing in their way is this skills gap. Our skills platform is poised to provide the solution, closing that gap, to help all of you and even them move faster to build the skills we need to succeed. Skills for speed. Now, to tell us more about Pluralsight Skills and show us about how some of it works, I'm inviting our VP of Product Marketing, Lindsay Bayek, to the stage. Lindsay, come on out.
Go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us.
Lindsay, we're gonna do a demo, right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay,
so
what are we gonna show them?
As you mentioned earlier, Aaron, the teams have been hard at work improving the overall discoverability of our platform. And you've been talking about cloud. So why don't we start by finding more about deploying apps on Microsoft Azure?
Okay, great. So you're logged in as an individual here, and you're looking at it like an individual would see it.
Exactly. So for that, I'm going to head over to the Browse page. And what you see here is a fresh, new look. We've made it even easier and faster to find hot topics like cloud, as you just mentioned, machine learning, and AI. In addition, we've made it even easier to find all of the content types that align with the skill coverage you talked about.
So like if you care about hands-on, you see interactive courses, projects, easy to find, all in one view.
Exactly. And with projects, you can now download them to a zip folder in addition to GitHub. And if you've been waiting for something really specific, wait no longer. At the bottom of the Browse page, we highlight now the newest releases on our platform.
Well, and that's going to change a lot because we're releasing about 120 new courses every month, so you got to be paying attention.
The teams are moving super fast.
Okay, cool.
Now, let's imagine that I'm an aspiring DevOps engineer. And while the Browse page is helpful, I'm going to look for something specific. So I'm going to go ahead and search. And what's happening here is you're seeing our brand new predictive search actually give me some options. I'm going to go ahead and click on Azure DevOps.
And let's make sure we highlight some of the things we've done with search, because we've invested a lot of time here.
Right. What I love that's happening here is that Iris, the brains of our platform, is actually surfacing recommendations tailored to me. So here I have the Azure DevOps skill assessment in addition to some of the newest and most popular courses on our platform. We also have a variety of paths, so let's see if we can find something on deployment.
There's a lot of paths here. Do you have one on DevOps somewhere?
Yeah, let's find it. All right, here we go.
Or deployment. Let's do deployment.
Yeah, so here, this path on deployment is going to help me and my team upskill and know how to deploy apps on Azure. And skimming through here, it looks like they've even got a course on containers with subjects that are really top of mind, like Docker and also Kubernetes. Now, I don't have time to watch this whole course now, so I'm going to go ahead and add it to a channel so that my team can dive in more later.
Perfect. So that next time they go to that channel, they'll see that course in there.
Exactly.
Now, so this is great for an individual, but if I'm a leader and I want to ramp up a whole team on deployment like this, what would I do?
Yeah, so for that, Role IQ is a great place to start. With Role IQ, you can create these specific roles that help your team have a clear path to mastery in whatever their role is. So you just launched the Microsoft Azure DevOps role, so let's go over and select that.
Perfect.
And you can also customize these roles. So let's say that for our organization as a leader, this was a really testing-specific role. I'm able to go and add testing on Microsoft Azure to this role.
So these are skills you're selecting. So
Yes.
you've taken the built-in Microsoft Azure DevOps role that we provided.
Yeah.
And you've said, I actually want to add some new skills to that role.
Exactly.
So you're changing the definition of it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we have over 200 skills to choose from. So you can go on and customize this further. I'm going to skip through that part. But when you're done customizing the role to meet the needs of your business, you can actually go in and assign it. I'm going to assign this to Tom here. And once I assign this role to Tom, he's going to be prompted from within the application to go ahead and validate and benchmark his proficiency levels in this role.
So as you add all your team members into a role, that produces an experience for all of them that they'll see next time they log in.
Exactly.
And then you have a way to see what's happening. You have some analytics?
Yes, so that is with role analytics. So as a leader, you now have unprecedented visibility into the roles that exist within your organization and a view into the technical proficiencies of the individuals in that role so that you're able to have more objective data to inform decisions about how to put the right people on the right projects to move faster.
Awesome. That was a quick lap around Pluralsight Skills. You did a great
fast.
job. Lindsay, thank you so much. Give it up for Lindsay.
Thanks, Aaron.
This is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us.
Lindsay and I can't do a demo without dancing a little bit. So the next superpower I want to talk about is this idea of unlocking visibility. We've just finished talking about the importance of skills and strategy. One of the key things you need to accomplish and build those capabilities is visibility into what's happening. You know, during the customer advisory board yesterday, I was chatting with many of our largest customers about what metrics they look at to guide their work and how they measure their organization's output, their organization's success. And there aren't a lot of them. There aren't a lot of great metrics that tech leaders use to measure how well their teams are working. Think about your world. What metrics do you use? What data do you look at? How can you tell if one engineering team is more efficient than another engineering team, if they're producing more value with the same amount of investment? Those are the things we're looking at here with GitPrime. GitPrime is all about unlocking that kind of visibility for your teams. It unlocks valuable engineering IP, activity around code commits, pull requests, tickets. That data is sort of there, but it's sort of trapped. You don't have access to it today. We're unlocking it for you. And we're providing insights around that data to help better inform how your teams work in the future. It's really a tool for your leaders to be better leaders. It's about empowering leaders to have better insights, to provide more effective coaching and guidance. That's what this is about. In the software engineering world, there's a concept called efficiency, and there's two flavors of it. You have resource efficiency on one hand, and flow efficiency on the other hand. And there's a spectrum between them. I want to give you a real-world example to help you understand the difference between resource efficiency and flow efficiency. Imagine for a second you went to the doctor and had some tests done, and the doctor found something that made him believe you might have cancer. For you as the patient in that moment, the most important next step, what value looks like to you, is getting that diagnosis as quickly as possible. That's value. Now, in a resource-efficient system, you would go to get an MRI. You would then go to a radiologist to read the MRI. You would then go to a sequence of other doctor visits until you ultimately were given the diagnosis. And there's a lot of idle time between each of those steps in the process. The reason that happens is because they're optimizing for cost, for as few resources as possible to deliver that value. There's only one MRI machine. Now, as a patient, that doesn't feel great to have to wait 30 days to get the diagnosis. That's what resource efficiency looks like. Now, over here, with flow efficiency, the world looks very different. In a flow-efficient system, I would show up to a clinic that's been fully optimized to deliver the diagnosis as quickly as possible, regardless of the cost. You would have the MRI machine there. You would have the radiologist to read them. You would have all the doctors you needed to talk to actually produce the diagnosis. Most of the idle time is removed. In a flow-efficient system, it might only take a few hours to get the diagnosis. What would you rather have as the patient? The answer is pretty obvious. In software engineering, we're having the same type of realization. We're realizing that we need to move our teams more towards flow efficiency because it's better for the customer. It's better value more quickly, more for the same. But it's not easy to do, and it's not black or white. You don't just say, I'm resource efficient or flow efficient, make the decision, and you're done. It's a spectrum. So how do you know where you're at on that spectrum today? You need data to inform you. You need those insights. You need something that can look at all the activities that are happening around how you build software to help inform you and your teams where you're at in terms of your flow efficiency. So with all of that context, I'm proud to announce today that our new name for GitPrime will be Pluralsight Flow. So we have Pluralsight Skills and Pluralsight Flow. You need both of them to succeed. They're designed to empower the tech leader, and we're really excited to tell you more about it. So instead of me going on, I want to invite the co-founder and CEO of GitPrime to the stage, Travis Kimmel. Travis, come on up.
Hi everyone, I'm Travis. I'm excited to share a bit about how we fit in at Pluralsight. So most things in software engineering are pretty unique, as you're aware, and leading a team of software engineers is really no different. It's different than how we do it in other disciplines. So I wanted to share a couple examples of how we think about these problems. This is a ticket that we received. It's a Jira ticket from when I was running a team, and it simply said, build a mood button in the app. Now, we had no idea what this meant. We tried to poke around for a little bit, right? I mean, it's like 7 words of requirements. It's not a lot to go on. And finally, this one guy, Dan, who's pretty senior, he's like, look, I'll take a run at it. So he takes a run at it. we deliver whatever Dan thought that was, and of course got immediately told that that was wrong. And we tried iteratively to figure that out, to like tease out what this meant by building software live for a while. And then at the end of it, as these things go, we threw the whole project away. So when we think about effectiveness of an engineering team, a lot of what we're thinking about is these sort of systems problems that crop up, right? In the end, developer productivity really is a systems problem. We always start with the view that productivity is a developer's natural state. Most engineers show up to work every day excited to solve interesting problems, and then throughout the course of the day, things get in the way. And so what we might have seen with Dan is something like this. We break engineering work into its composite parts, and one of the things that we look at in red here is what we call code churn. So it's what happens when a developer is writing a bunch of code that doesn't quite stick, like it's not going upstream to the customer. And some level of this is normal, right? Like we all do prototyping. But if you see a spike, it can be indicative of a breakdown in the development process, whether that's weird requirements or some sort of skills deficit because the developers may be a little out of their depth, which is fine. In the past, this has all been invisible. And so today, engineering leads can finally dig in and help when they see this because they can finally see what's happening, which is awesome. Here's another one we like. These are product touchstones that we use. We call them the button problems. This is a ticket. You can imagine getting a ticket like this, right? Please make all the buttons in the app green. Maybe there's like a rebrand or something. And so oftentimes what will happen is that a developer will pick this up and say, yeah, I'm going to make all the buttons green, but while I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and refactor the entire templating engine, right? Because I've been meaning to get around to that. And what's important to note is that that's good behavior. Like, we want engineers to do this. In fact, we encourage it, right? Take initiative, build for the long term, clean as you go. But the problem is, if this is happening sort of in the background, you get this huge delta between what the business ordered and what we're building. Like, the business wants, I don't know, a half a day worth of green buttons, and what you're getting is 3 months worth of green buttons. Right? So again, if we can see this in action, we've got Amy here. She says, in Jira, we look and she's like, yeah, I'm working on turning the buttons green. And then we look in there, and she's actually in there kind of like muckraking, dealing with a lot of old code, refactoring a ton of legacy work. Well, this can be a sign for a manager to get in there and weigh in before the project snowballs into months of unanticipated work, right? Which is great, because then you can go build mandate for the refactor. We probably want to do that. We just want to have an agreement about that so that we're not going rogue as we do. And so this kind of holistic, system-centric approach really helps engineering teams be more effective. Again, it's not about coding faster, and it's not about counting lines of code or any of that weird stuff. In fact, it's so not about counting lines of code that we've developed things like Impact. You can see here on the left, like notionally 100 lines of code, and on the right, you've got maybe 17 lines of code that were written. But on the right, there's a lot of brain damage going on, right? Like, that code was scattered all across the code base. You're dealing with a lot of old spaghetti. Maybe it was previously written by 4 or 5 people who no longer work at the company. And so what we want to be able to say is that this stuff on the right is actually bigger. And so this is why we've evolved things like Impact that allows us to measure something which we believe is a proxy for the cognitive load that a developer experiences when they're doing the work, as opposed to just code by weight. We also look at things like knowledge sharing. This is super important to teams. We want to make sure that everybody on the code base can work effectively in it. And so when thinking about this problem, we found some math called the Gini coefficient. If you haven't heard of this, it's awesome stuff. It's used by the UN and the World Bank to measure wealth distribution in societies. And so we said, what if we use that same math to measure knowledge distribution on a team? And so we came up with something we call the knowledge sharing index, which you can sort of see here. You can like hover over a person and see who they're working with. And technology leaders can now use this to proactively break down knowledge silos when they see them forming. And finally, the final example here is a pattern we commonly see, which is that engineering work can be done, but not yet experienced. So we sort of write code, and then there's all this other stuff that has to happen before it moves upstream, like code review and feature acceptance, QA maybe. And so there's this weird lag behind when the engineering work is delivered from an engineering perspective versus when the customer actually experiences the value. This is sort of what Aaron was mentioning around flow efficiency. So we have developed a series of reports that put focus around not just the coding portion of the engineering process, but the entire system, right? And this systems thinking can help improve the process flow and lead to huge perceived gains in time to delivery. The goal here is really to help engineering teams thrive, and we do that by giving them a bunch of tools that they can use to debug their development process. To do that, we need a new way to think about engineering and a new way to see what's happening in the engineering pipeline. So I've been talking for a while here. I want to share with you a quick video of what this looks like in action.
In a data-driven world, engineering leadership has been operating in the dark. Pluralsight Flow gives you the insights to lead world-class software engineering teams. It takes data from code commits, pull requests, and tickets to give you visibility into your software development process, allowing you to better manage and enable your teams. This starts with a detailed view into your team's workflow to help you identify and encourage healthy commits, development patterns, and knowledge sharing. With real-time data on open pull requests and unresolved comments, spot roadblocks with your code review process to help your developers spend less time waiting and more time building. Flow provides insights across all of your development teams and gives you access to view all your historical data, so you can track trends over time and against industry benchmarks. You'll see how business decisions impact engineering effectiveness. And with the added context that comes from objective data, you'll become a more effective coach and better leader. Armed with this data, celebrate your team's success and help your organization understand the work that happens behind every release. It's everything you need to create a more efficient workflow, so you can build better products faster.
Thank you. We're obviously big fans. Everyone loves their own children. So I wanted to give you the chance to hear about this from a customer who's been using it for a while. Please welcome to the stage Tiffany Lyons from Modernizing Medicine.
Maybe the night that my tears might let me know all the stars are close, all the stars are close, all the stars are close. Maybe the night that my tears might let me know all the stars are closer.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Casual chat with 1,000 of our best friends.
Hello.
So can you share with us when you first found that metrics and data might be something you wanted to incorporate into development?
So first, I want to help kind of set perspective a little bit and talk about Modernizing Medicine, kind of paint the picture for the audience of who we are. I know some people probably haven't heard of us before. So Modernizing Medicine was founded on the principles of innovation and data-backed decision-making. Our mission as a company is to transform how health information is created, consumed, and utilized to help practices be more efficient and also help patient outcomes. So we withhold the same standards within our engineering department as well. And Modernizing Medicine started off as a EHR company, which stands for Electronic Healthcare Record System. And we mainly focus on dermatology, but we have grown to so much more than that. Many different verticals within healthcare itself, ophthalmology, to name one. But we've also transformed kind of the future of healthcare with our vast different, very different product suites, I would say. We have a practice management applications which help with scheduling and financials. We have an analytics platform which provides the doctors information as far as labs and things of that nature, as well as our patient engagement tools which help the patients kind of just get their information quickly as far as lab results and things like that, even some scheduling as well. So like I said, we've grown, and so for us, we really want to focus on scalability. We've grown to over 760 employees and over 14,000 healthcare providers using our EHR system, which we call Emma. And so in order to scale, we really needed a tool that helped us do so effectively. So we kind of searched around and we asked ourselves, like, how can we find something that will help us gauge the health and performance and productivity of our engineering teams? And really give us that confidence that we need within our engineering department. So we asked ourselves a question: how can we get performance data to our engineering team, as well as to the management team? And we also wanted to use that data to remove these kind of gut feeling type of performance evaluations that maybe you heard of or maybe you experienced. Maybe some of you have experienced it too. You walk into your annual review, you sit down, and you're ready. You're kind of ready to hear the information back, thinking it's going to be positive, and all of a sudden your boss says, well, I just really feel that you're not collaborating enough within the team. And you're kind of taken back a little bit, and like, okay, would you mind sharing like the data behind that, or what maybe the behaviors behind that? Next thing they say is, it's just kind of a gut feeling that I have. At that point, the engineer no longer trusts the boss, or maybe even the organization as a whole, and that's very dangerous. At Monetizing Medicine, we really don't want that to happen, so we really wanted the engineers to be able to see the data and see how they're performing against the targets, KPIs that we have set as a department, as well as get good visibility into the areas where we can improve, whether it's individual improvement, team improvement, or just process improvement as a whole. And that's where GitPrime came in.
Awesome. And so who's the actual user? Who benefits from this kind of data?
Well, simply put, everyone. Everyone from the top down benefits from this, especially our customers. And so I'll just kind of describe a little bit of why. I'll start with the developers. So I might be aging myself here a little bit, but when I was an engineer, there wasn't really a truly good way to gauge my performance. It would be, did you break anything? Or hopefully not. And also, did you complete all of your tickets on time? And if that was, all those cases were met, then I was a good performer. But now fast forward to GitPrime, and you're able to kind of take a deep dive as a developer into your day-to-day operational performance, as well as your team performance, how you compare to your team. And it's really kind of helped a lot with the developers and upper management as well. So as a manager, I'm able to quickly look in every day to see how things are going operationally, and then I'm also able to have more fruitful conversations with my direct reports about performance and things of that nature. And of course, all of this data rolls up to executive team, directors, which gives them confidence to set realistic targets and realistic KPIs. And that's key, definitely, for confidence within the team.
Awesome. So we talked a little bit about our approach and how we think about the problem. What exactly is GitPrime in your words?
Oh, wow. That's a large question. So many words come to mind. All positive, of course. But for me, GitPrime has really been a lifesaver. And I know that's a very intense word to use, but let me just kind of explain why I say that. So as an engineering manager at Monetizing Medicine, it has really helped me streamline my workflow and also have a lot of efficiencies gained. It has made it more manageable to oversee engineers that work on various teams and to enhance our plethora of products.
Yeah.
So as I stated before, Monetizing Medicine has an EHR system, what we call EMA. But EMA, it goes against all these specialty-specific industries as well, or specialties as well. And it's very challenging to really target them. So GitPrime really helps kind of alleviate that. And it's a window that myself as a manager that I wouldn't be able to see the data or how things are going unless I actually had this data. And just by being on the team, I normally wouldn't be able to have this insight that I've gained from having GitPrime. So for me, with all of these moving parts, the different specialties that we have to make sure that we are building efficiently, and the practice management system that comes with it, and then the analytics platform, and all of the engineering teams that kind of help build those products, there's tons of moving variables for me as a manager. So on a day-to-day, it can be very time-consuming. So GitPrime has really become my kind of personal assistant in a way, making it more feasible to manage all these different moving components.
That's awesome. Is there like a significant change that you've observed that stands out?
I would say the most significant change would be the self-governance of the engineers. It's truly refreshing to see how much they care about their craft and how it fits into the mission and the impact to potentially our customers, our doctors, our patients. And it's so nice to experience that. I remember one time walking into one of my syncs, one of my one-on-ones, and the engineer face was all lit up and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? And they just automatically went into, look how I'm doing. I'm surpassing all these targets and all these KPIs. I'm doing so great. And it was just really refreshing because I didn't have to prompt it. I didn't have to pull it out of them. I didn't really have to get them to talk about the performance. And so that was really, really awesome. I attribute that to GitPrime.
Cool. So do you have any advice for people here who might be thinking about introducing data into the engineering process?
Yes. Don't hesitate. Just do it. Don't wait. Don't think too much about it. Use the data that you have at your fingertips to make your workflow and your work life just better, and your engineering organization as a whole better. There are a few key components, though, I think, that are crucial in order to successfully implementing GitPrime into your environment. One of which is start small.
Yeah.
Start with small wins. That way you build trust and you really build that confidence within the engineers in the engineering organization and the upper management as well. Second, I would say get buy-in and also be fully transparent. And that was really, really key for us in Monetizing Medicine, because when we rolled it out, we knew that engineers would be like, oh, this is like Big Brother. I don't know how I feel about this. And without understanding the why behind it, if you do feel like you have a big brother looking over you, you kind of tend to underperform or just modify your performance in a way because you don't know why. So we had an all hands when we're going to roll out GitPrime. We told everyone why we're doing it, how important it is to the company to get these insights that we really truly need to be a more efficient team. And that really helped. The engineers understood why, and they were able to kind of get behind the initiative and really help us move forward.
Awesome.
And then, sorry, one more if I can, is to stay active. That's very important as well. So you can release GitPrime, but if you're not actively talking about it through one-on-ones and you're not staying organized, then it's all for nothing, right? So stay on top of it, stay very involved in your one-on-ones, talk about your performance, use your coaching, use your mentoring skills, and help them perform better as engineers. And ultimately, that will reflect very well on you as a manager, and then also on the engineering organization as a whole.
Great. Tiffany, thanks so much for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me. I hope to help.
Maybe tonight the motives might let me know all the stars are close, all the stars are close, all the stars are close.
Thank you, Travis and Tiffany. That's Pluralsight Flow. We're thrilled to welcome the GitPrime family to Pluralsight, and we've got so many amazing things ahead. We're continuing to invest, and this is a big milestone for Pluralsight. This is the year that Pluralsight became a multi-product company. You know, and as we look to the future, we see incredible opportunity to continue to bring Pluralsight Skills and Pluralsight Flow together. We're unifying these offerings. They'll both be sold independently, but you'll also be able to purchase a unified offering early next year. But already today, we're releasing our first integration between the two products that will surface up as a new visualization within the Pluralsight Skills Leader Dashboard. It's called Language Analytics. Language Analytics is the ability to connect the data around your code commits to the learning activity you're seeing within the Pluralsight Skills product. It allows you to visualize that so you can see if the skills your teams are developing are aligned with the projects they're working on in terms of the programming languages. This is skills acquisition combined with skill application in one place, and we're super excited about it. Go visit us in the expo to see a demo of this. The power of skills and flow coming together, and there'll be much more next year. So in summary, skills is your fastest path to build tech skills at scale, and flow is your ability to unlock visibility into how those skills are being applied in practice. You need both. As a software developer, it's like ones and zeros. You need both of them to succeed. Can't do it without both ones and zeros. Do you guys remember at Pluralsight Live 2 years ago, we had 0 and 1 running around? So all of this is an important part of where we're heading in the future. And I want to reemphasize that we can help you with both of these things. Often the path isn't clear, how to get started, how to evolve leadership, how to change org design like Shawn talked about, and how to bring solutions like skills and flows into your world effectively. Our ProServe team can help. So we have skills, flow, and ProServe. All three provide a complete solution for moving into that future. Now, a quick moment about what's coming in the future. We're continuing to invest in our content advantage. We will produce content faster at a higher quality level than anyone else in the market. We're also building personalized learning experiences in much more depth. Our teams are actively defining skill maps, which provide a clear vision for how an individual professional can navigate a sequence of skills throughout their career, providing a faster, more efficient, and more effective way to get there. The learning will be personalized and adaptive for them. We also have demos of this that you can see in the exchange today. Pluralsight will continue to focus on micro-learning and other modalities of content beyond video. We're committed to video, and we're also committed to experimenting with other forms of content. Pluralsight will continue to build on the Pluralsight IQ family. We have the Iris Foundation, and there'll be other IQ-like capabilities in the not-so-distant future. And we'll have more GitPrime-like capabilities. New products and solutions that allow you to look at the outcomes of all the skill development. We have the analytics within skills, but we're going to take you to the outcomes of those skills in capabilities like GitPrime. So you'll see more of that in the future. All of this will give you the capability you need to succeed long-term by combining the insights you need to lead with the skills you need for speed. That's what Pluralsight's committed to. Okay, now I'd like to switch gears. A final section on our mission, which is really important to us here at Pluralsight. Our mission is to democratize technology skills, to provide access to the world, to bring equality of opportunity. And our mission will not change. It didn't change when we went from the classroom to the cloud. It didn't change when we hired our first 100 team members. And it certainly didn't change when we became a public company. This is our mission. This is what we're committed to. And that's why we created Pluralsight One. Pluralsight One is our social enterprise. It's our ability to realize our mission in practice. We need both our commercial business and Pluralsight One to bring it to fruition. Neither one can do it alone. They're intertwined. Pluralsight One is committed to improving opportunity, increasing employability, transforming education, and ultimately investing in innovation for social good. And like I said earlier, we now have over 300 nonprofit partners using the Pluralsight One product offerings. Many of them are here this week, like the Norwegian Refugee Council, the Malala Fund, Code.org, the Computer Science Teacher Association, and many more. Okay, these are the groups that are doing important work in the world, work that I'm passionate about and I'm personally committed to. And we are proud to be able to work with them to bring their causes to life. Now today, I'm excited to announce our newest partnership with an incredible organization who's helping bridge the opportunity gap for youth across the country. The group is called Year Up. So across the United States today, there are over 5 million youth who are disconnected from stable career opportunities because of where they were born and where they currently live. And at the same time, there are over 12 million jobs that are available for them, but they require some level of post-secondary education. There's a massive gap and a huge opportunity to impact that, to bring those two things together. And that's why today we're excited to announce a new national 3-year product grant to Year Up that's worth over $12.3 million. And we're supplementing that with additional cash grants to spur their technology strategy forward and help them progress more quickly. We're going to be in there helping them with our professional services. Okay, now this partnership will impact over 15,000 youth across the country very quickly. And you'll see what that looks like here in just a second. It's going to be an accelerant. It's going to move it forward. And I want to bring a few people out to the stage to tell you more about Year Up and how it works. So please welcome John Galante, the Executive Director of Year Up New York, along with one of the newest Year Up alums, Michaela Dyer. Come on out, guys. welcome.
Thank you
How
for
you
having
feeling?
us. Doing well. Thank you for asking.
Good. Well, it's awesome to have you here. Michaela, let me start with you, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about your story, your personal story, and how Year Up has impacted that.
Sure. I am an undergraduate at the Bar of Manhattan Community College, and I learned about Year Up through their partnership with my school. Now, you may wonder what incentivized me to participate in this intensive year-long career development program congruent with my studies. To simply put it, my personal desire for career growth was the catalyst for my decision to join. Especially being a first-generation American of Jamaican descent, my family always emphasized the importance of education and taking advantage of the opportunities available here as opposed to back home. This, coupled with the rare opportunity presented by Year Up to young adults like myself that do not come from the traditional background of having attended an elite school, and the fact that they help to jumpstart our careers with corporate internships, was another motivating force in my decision. After the application process, I entered the learning and development phase of the program, which helped to refine both my soft skills and technical skills. This empowered me to earn an internship at Morgan Stanley, in which I worked in the project management capacity. It is important to note that the tremendous support that I've received from both the staff at Year Up, my mentors, as well as my colleagues, have helped to support me in making a successful career pivot. And it's also, I would say, it's significantly, pardon me.
It's okay.
Exposed me to a plethora of knowledge in both the financial services and technology industries.
That's awesome.
As such, I am delighted to announce that I have recently graduated the program earlier this month, and I will soon begin my new role in a position that I was promoted to following my internship as an Agile Scrum Master.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And I have a bit more to add to that.
Go ahead.
Thank you all. Both experiences have impelled me to be a servant leader and also inspired me to, in true Year Up fashion, lift as I climb. Most importantly, this experience overall has taught me that I do, in fact, manifest the power to, or harness the power to manifest my desires into reality.
Manifest your desires into reality. I love that. Lift as you climb. Yep. John, tell the audience a bit about what Year Up does, like how it works,
sure,
and why this partnership matters to you.
Sure. Well, first of all, Aaron, thank you so much, and I'd like to really publicly thank the Pluralsight team for their generous commitment. Over the last day or so, I've met with a number of your staff members, and the enthusiasm and excitement is absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that. Thank you for the generosity.
You're welcome.
The program works, as Aaron said, there's 5 million opportunity youth throughout the country between the ages of 18 and 24 years old, have a high school equivalent diploma, but no connectivity to corporate America. And on the other side of the divide, you have these 12 million jobs with great companies that could lead to fabulous careers. So what we do is we wake up every day thinking about how do we close that divide? How do we make that bridge work? And we go out and into the communities and we recruit the young adults and we put them through an intensive 6-month learning and development phase where we teach them soft skills how to show up to work on time, how to be a team member, how to receive and give positive and constructive feedback, how to dress, how to act in a corporate environment. And then we also train them on a lot of the soft skills, and then we partner with community colleges and other organizations to teach them the technical skills. And from there, that first 6 months, once that's over, we actually place them into internships with our corporate partners, and they actually work for 6 months on the internships, and they come back to our offices every Wednesday afternoon to get additional coaching and support. And the objective at the end of the day is for them to get full-time jobs after they're finished with their internship. And over 70% of our graduates actually are successful in landing those jobs. So it's really a great accomplishment. Micaiah is a great example of the kind of success stories that we experience. The partnership couldn't be more important to us. I mean, the fact that we can now, actually we were introduced to Pluralsight through some of our corporate partners, and the fact that we can now train and develop the skills of our students on the technology so that they can go right into our corporate partners with that framework really takes us up a complete level in terms of the training and capabilities that our students can bring to their internships and ultimately to their jobs.
Thanks, John. I mean, when I came and visited you in New York, and I got the tour from you and 3 of your students there at the time, I was really impressed with like the nature of what you'd focus on there. I mean, obviously you're building real skills that they need, but you're also helping them with practical things like how to dress for an interview, how to show up and present yourself professionally. Yeah. You know, things that would allow them to break through the sort of the barriers that a lot of them face. Can you just say a couple more words about that for the audience?
Sure. So we split up our groups into communities of 40 learning communities of 40 students each, and they really help each other and work as a team to bring each other up. Every Monday morning we have a kickoff, getting ready for the week, and there's usually a theme every week. And then every Friday afternoon we have Friday feedback. And they really use those sort of benchmarks as the sort of main ingredient to lead into the week of training and to also boost them thereafter. We also, every student signs a contract with us. So, and they get paid a stipend based on the points on that contract. So if they're late to their internship or late to a class, they get knocked 15 points and $15 off of that stipend. So we really foster the whole idea of accountability and earning everything along the way. It's earning your internship, earning that first job, and also firing yourself. If for some reason you're not making the grade and you have a rough time, and although we surround them with a lot of great support, we're not firing them, they're firing themselves.
It's awesome. And here you are, Michaela, working at one of the biggest financial services companies in the country and sitting in front of 3,000 people.
No pressure.
Awesome. No pressure. So, hold on real quick. So the last question I want to ask you is, next week, there's this whole new group of Europe alums coming in to start, and they're going to have access to Pluralsight for the first time. What do you think that's going to do for them?
I truly believe it has the power to significantly impact the advancement of our education as well as our careers. Personally, joining a team that was committed to transforming to this new method, Agile, I think it would have definitely given me an advantage going into my internship, having more expertise on the subject matter so that I could better assist my team. Yeah.
I hope that happens for everyone. Yeah. John, any last words for the audience on how they could better work with your organization in the future?
Sure. So, well, thanks for that. And you know, this is a big problem across the United States of America that we are trying to tackle. And thankfully, we have a lot of great partners like Pluralsight and a number of folks who are in the audience representing different companies. But what I would say to you all is get involved. Help us close that opportunity divide and democratize these skills. And really, we have a theme called high expectations, high support. What I would say to all of you is get involved with Europe, help us with the program, host interns, recruit our graduates, and mentor, and just get involved. And you can go to our website at yearup.org anytime and check it out and join us in this mission.
All right, give it up for Michaela and John.
Thank you again.
All right, we're coming to the close. It's incredible work by incredible people, and there's so many more examples like that happening with all of our nonprofit partners. I want you to know we are truly committed to our mission, to democratize tech skills. We're committed to increasing access and opportunity within your companies and organizations and across the globe. You can count on us to do good with the resources you trust us with. And I want you to know that you're behind this work we're describing. A partnership with Pluralsight and our products and solutions is also an investment in this kind of work. And we're committed to empowering each of you, the tech leaders in the audience, with the superpowers you need to succeed in the future: strategy, skills, and visibility. Our platform and solutions can help to combine the insights you need to lead with the skills you need for speed. Embrace this new era. Now's the time to start, and we can do this together. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the show.